Hi, I'm Ben Ang, Ableton Certified Trainer and Principal Tutor of the NUS Electronic Music Lab. In this video, you'll learn how to get started in Ableton Live 10 and how to move around the screen and to load sounds. That was a sound check to see if everyone can hear. And in this session, I'm going to introduce you to the Ableton Live interface. Assuming that you've not actually used the Ableton Live interface before, this will bring you right from the beginning, and you can refer to the handouts in the website that we've actually built for this. So we're going to start, first of all, by looking at this menu at the top. If I say menu, it's this thing on the top of your screen, right? With all the different functions. And one of the functions is under view, there's this thing called info view. With info view is on, you will see in your bottom left-hand corner that there's this little cheat sheet that tells you what's happening. So for example, if I just mouse over this thing, it tells me, oh, this is a MIDI clip. If I mouse over this is a browser content pane. If I mouse over sounds, it will tell me that I've got sounds. So info view helps to tell you what's going on. There are also these windows of different sizes. You notice when my mouse moves over them, I can now resize them. So roughly everything is resizable unless it's blocked by something else. I can even use these triangles to make things collapse in and out to make more space. I'm doing this right now. If you wonder why my screen looks so big, I've actually zoomed in 150% so that you can see it properly on your com. On your own screen, you should have a higher res, but I'm showing it at 150%. So the browser that we have, if you look at categories, right? And you look by info view just below here, info view, it says here, browse sounds. Click here to view all of your instrument racks and instrument presets. Well, Ableton Live comes with sounds built in, and they are divided into categories here. If you want to hear the sounds previewed as you are going through, you should have this little headphone icon on. See this little headphone icon? And for example, if you look at ambient and evolving, okay, don't worry if my list looks longer than your list because I have much more things installed than you have, but I'm going to give you examples from. So this is an atmospheric sound. Okay, basically I click on these triangles, or if I want to hear a bass sound, it's analog bass sound. So you should be hearing those coming out from your headphones as well. And if I wanted to hear a brass sound, in order to play this brass sound, I would have to drag it into a MIDI channel. Empty MIDI channel. And there we go. Now there is this brass sound there. How am I going to play it? I'm actually going to play it even though I have a set of keyboards and everything around. I know most of you are just logging on with a laptop. You can actually use your computer keys. And if you scroll down the handout, you will actually see that the computer keys are mapped. I'm now going to highlight my computer keyboard. I'm going to show you that, okay, first in the top right-hand corner, you need to switch on this little icon of black and white keys. Can you see this little icon here where my mouse is? So I can actually use my computer keyboard to play. Standard computer keyboard anybody has. And this is playing a lower octave. I can play a higher octave by using X. X again. You want to go down? Z. Up. So this way you can actually try out sounds for yourself in all the different categories. Below sounds, there is drums. And drums, you must also drag it onto your MIDI channel. So I'm going to override this Brzezinski. Now I've got an 808 core kit. I'm going to use my computer keyboard again. And this computer keyboard, there is a trick to it, because I have to be playing in a range where the keys actually map to these notes. Now, if I have pressed X and I'm going up one octave, there's no more sounds except for. So I need to do Z. Look at the bottom left of the screen. Bottom left of the screen, it says your current octave is C1 to D2. Then I have sound. If I go too low, I press Z again. C0 to D1, no sound. So I need to use X to go up again. C1 to D2. Okay, so that's the trick. It has to be C1 to D2. So you just drag it onto your MIDI channel and you can hear. Now in instruments actually recognizes the fact that all of these sounds come from certain instruments like synthesizers. And there's different technologies and different algorithms to create these sounds. So the analog synthesizer is basically, it is supposed to simulate those kind of synthesizers with a lot of knobs. So if you see this synth that I have here, it's supposed to simulate this, it's supposed to imitate this. And that's why if I drag it on, you will see now that it's changed to something with knobs. Whereas there are other instruments besides analog, there's also this thing called the collision. Collision is built on mallets. So it's another different technology. So if I drag it on, then you see, see it's changed, right? In the details view. So it's different kinds of instruments, but you actually don't need to understand what the instruments are, because all the sounds are actually in sounds. Instruments is only if you're going to do the programming. Then you want to know, for example, that operator uses this technology called FM synthesis. FM synthesis gives you a certain kind of sound. Yeah, but you don't need to know all that unless you're doing the programming. If you just want to get the sounds, go to sounds, because everything is available in sounds already. It's just a different way of sorting it. Next down is audio effects. Audio effects will give you a way to process the sound. So it says here, there are different presets when you drop it down. So for example, here, this is an amplifier. If I want to put, this is the normal sound. If I want to put heavy metal amplifier, if I don't want it, I can just right click and delete. There's also other things like delay. So a clean delay. Just pressing one note is causing echoes. When I don't want it, I can just delete There are so many different kinds of effects. And we'll be covering them next week. Right? So again, there's these things like a flanger. And you can put many in a row, one by on top of one another. So those are audio effects. MIDI effects don't change the sound. They change the note that you're playing. So even though I'm playing one note, if I put in an arpeggiator, the arpeggiator plays the notes for me. If I play two notes, it plays them together. And there's different patterns. I can even add in chords, so it plays a chord for me. So we'll cover this in future lessons as well. Max for Live is a programming language. Oh, so for those of you in computer science, you can actually program your own instruments, program your own audio effects, and there's a whole different world there. So you want to learn how to program, you can program in Max for Live. That is an advanced class I'll teach only to those who really want to learn. Plugins are additional instruments. You already experienced a Listen To plugin, and there are lots of free plugins, which I will share over the weeks and months to come. There are lots of free, very nice plugins that will give you additional sounds. If you ever get tired of the tens of thousands of sounds that are in Ableton Live, you can get something like this, for example. This is Superwave P8. And you can see Superwave P8 there. And I'm going to choose like sound, see if you can hear this. Oops, I still have all these things on. By the way, this is an on and off button here for the chords and for the arpeggiator. So there's a really, really different variety of sound that you can get. So those are plugins, and you can download them, and there's a lot of very good free ones. Clips, something I'll explain next week. But the last thing I want to share is samples. So samples are actually the recordings, either in WAV or AIF or MP3 format, and recordings of sounds that have been recorded by somebody. And there are different kinds of sounds. Okay, I have a much larger list than you because I've been collecting. But I can just, for example, if for any of you like EDM, you can find an EDM beat. But these I have to drag onto an audio. If I solo this, you will hear. Now, if you look at my top left-hand corner, my tempo, my speed is 100, which is too slow. For EDM, I need to go up to 128. So again. Besides these loops that you can take and you can create your own music with them, there's also individual things like vocal. Again, this is recorded. So this is something that you can actually use in your own music as well. So these are all available. There's like literally thousands of them available, and we'll also share where to download more free samples. So this is basically where you are. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I'm going through sounds, right? And I say, I like a bass. Let's say I like that analog bass. And I drag it over here. But I want to be able to find it again later. And rather than write it on a post-it or something, I can right click and I can actually add a color. So I've actually named all my colors with different things. I can actually name it, click under red. And then now when I click on red, I will see, oh look, analog bass is there. And you can have multiple colors for each thing. So I want to encourage you now, this is the time for your hands-on. Go and try out, okay? Go and try out on your own what it says in the handout. Go and try out different sounds, drag them on to the MIDI channel, and make sure that this little red button is on. This is the ARM record button. This red button is on and this little keyboard key is on, then you'll be able to play them over your keys of your computer keyboard. And then take note of a few that you like. So you try this for the next about 10 minutes.